Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Ringside Rundown podcast. My name is Eric Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. She is the rock to the sock in this connection. She is one half of the podcast Heart Foundation. She's probably the Bret Hart. She's more technical than I am. She
Yeah.
is Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend?
Not much on this fine Tuesday evening. But before we start, though, I know this is technically coming out tomorrow, but I want to say happy birthday to Mom. It's Mom's
Yes.
birthday today, so
Happy birthday, Mom.
figured we'd do that before we get into all the craziness. But
Yeah, for sure. She, like I said earlier on Twitter, she's like the podcast mom.
yeah, she really is, though. That's
You
not
know,
even an exaggeration. Like she is.
she's really is. So happy birthday to her. She had me in stitches over the whole Joe Hendry thing.
Yeah, I
That
was witness that firsthand.
yeah, that was fantastic. So I hope we should have got her a Joe Hendry cameo. Dang
We
it.
should have just gotten her like
Yeah.
something with a song.
Yeah, exactly. Something that would play over and over and over again, kind of like that Rock Lobster episode of Family Guy where you just
Yeah.
hear you just hear over and over again.
She didn't believe me at first when she's like, "Oh yeah, is it gonna be catchy?" I'm like, "Yeah, it pretty much is." So I showed her it, and that was the end of that. So
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. But yes, happy birthday to Mom. And for any new listeners here, this is the Ringside Rundown podcast, where Shay and I answer questions sent in by our loyal listeners regarding things that are happening in the world of professional wrestling. And this weekend in particular for professional wrestling is a big one because I'm pretty sure this has happened before, but it hasn't happened in a while. Both WWE and AEW have events happening, a PLE for WWE and a pay-per-view for AEW, King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, and Double or Nothing for AEW in Vegas. It's a massive, massive weekend for wrestling for sure.
yeah, which means we got a lot to cover.
Definitely, definitely. Real quick before we start getting into the questions, is there any matches in particular from both cards that you're looking forward to?
Well, for sure in Double or Nothing, I'm excited to see Adam Copeland, Malachi Black in the Barbara cage match
Oh yeah.
because I just want one time. I just want this to be the time that Malachi finally wins something.
Mm,
I'm hoping. Is it gonna happen? I don't really know, but it would be nice. It would just be nice to see him, win something.
yeah.
So I'm excited for that one because that one's just gonna be horrifying to watch, and it's gonna be funny because Mom and I are gonna be having our kind of like co-birthday party on Sunday night. Of course,
Right.
right in the middle of Double or Nothing. So if that match comes on, my poor friends that don't know what wrestling is are gonna be in for a rude awakening. But they'll be fine. And for King and Queen of the Ring, obviously the tournament finals, because obviously you got Gunther winning this week and going to the finals, and Lyra Valkyria, which those are gonna be fantastic matches depending on
Yeah.
who goes on the other side. I'd assume probably gonna be. I mean, Lyra Valkyria and Bianca Belair would be a really good final.
Mm,
That'd be a really good final. I mean, either way, and then Gunther and Randy, Gunther and Tamatonga. It's gonna be finals are gonna be great matches anyways. So
yeah.
I'm looking most forward to that, and then I'm kind of looking forward to Becky and Liv just to see what shenanigans Liv's gonna pull because she's been very vindictive a little bit as of late. So I'm
Yeah. Interesting thing that I noted about Liv last night while watching Raw is she's kind of taking the Drew McIntyre, I'm going to use logic as
yeah,
to why I deserve to be champion and not you. Everything she's saying,
she's got
makes
a
a lot
point.
of and she makes a lot of sense. She has great points and you can't really deny her the fact that she deserves this opportunity at the World Championship. The only problem is I feel like they could have done more
Oh
to
yeah,
elevate this angle. It just kind of seems a little rushed. If they would have started it a little earlier, maybe we could have had a Liv Morgan Lyra Valkyria match because we
yeah.
saw that interaction last night on Raw.
Well, the problem is you also have Liv kind of messing with the Judgment Day right now.
Yeah, that too.
So it's getting a little sneaky. I don't know how Rhea hasn't noticed yet, but Liz being very sneaky behind the scenes,
For
so it's going to
sure.
be interesting what she does to possibly single-handedly break up Judgment Day.
Yeah, for sure. On my end, this is the thing about AEW is that on paper, when it comes to their pay-per-views, they put together a pretty solid card.
Yeah,
It's just, man, it's really good. And I'm glad that they've cut down the number of matches. They're usually accustomed to having like 14, 15 matches on a card. This one, as of right now, only has 9, which I think is fantastic.
yeah,
Um, like you said, the barbed wire cage match is going to be great because it's something different. It's something that we don't see very often. Um, I'm definitely looking forward to the main events, the Anarchy in the Arena, and the World Championship match between Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage. But I mean, I'm big on, you know, Takeshita, and
yeah,
he's facing Moxley. I don't see the point of it being a IWGP World Heavyweight Championship eliminator match.
yeah,
I think it should just be a straight up championship match if we're gonna elevate that. Um, the caveat is if Takeshita wins, he gets a future IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. And obviously Will Ospreay, Roderick Strong. That should be, on paper, that's a banger match, and it should be great. Will Ospreay, for some reason, has the uncanny ability to just have great match after great match. It's crazy.
yeah.
So
It's insane.
I'm definitely excited for that. Over on WWE side for King and Queen of the Ring, like you said, the finals should be fantastic for both sides. Gunther getting the win over Jey Uso. I felt like if Jey Uso was to win, the obvious idea was to have Tama Tonga win and
Yeah,
restart the whole bloodline stuff. Now that Gunther has won, I'd love to see Gunther, Randy Orton, because we know Randy Orton's time is kind of winding down, you know?
yeah.
So I would love,
Depressing as it is.
yeah, I would love to see um Gunther and Randy Orton one time. That'd be cool. Logan Paul should have another fantastic outing. He's another one that just can't miss when it comes to this wrestling stuff, and he's in there
Yeah,
with the world champion. So that's gonna be cool. The triple threat match for the IC titles got a lot of juice behind it between Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. I wish they would incorporate a little bit more Bronson Reed,
yeah,
and Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan should be fantastic, as we stated. Lyra Valkyria, it's pretty cool to see a rookie come in, drafted just 3 weeks ago, and she's elevated to the finals of the Queen of the Ring. That's pretty cool.
yeah. I completely agree. It's just we got a lot of good wrestling kind of this weekend. And I'm
Yeah,
definitely looking forward to it.
we are definitely spoiled. It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait because both shows look pretty good. Like, we really can't complain.
No, we really can't.
We really can't complain. But as we stated earlier, we are a question and answer podcast. So why don't we get into the questions sent in to us by our wonderful listeners?
Yeah, let's get into it. We're gonna start off with Jack's questions. He said, I don't like DIY cosplay and DX as their gimmick. It feels like it puts a ceiling on them. Also, it's strange that the anti-establishment stable is now the establishment.
Really?
It's funny how tables turn when it comes to leadership and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of funny. The Triple H is in charge of everything when he used to want to buck the system all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, DIY with DX. I thought it was funny at first, but now that they're actually doing it all the time, I'm like, oh, this isn't going away, is it?
Yeah.
It's weird because I don't need the DX thing. Like I said,
Right.
it was just fun. It was a funny joke with R-Truth, but they just kind of went on with it a little too long because DIY is a great team by itself. I'm not entirely sure why they have to, like Jack said, cosplay as another team. It's just
Right.
strange.
Yeah, I totally agree. Um, like you said, main point. It was funny for like a week or two. It made a lot of sense. They got all the jokes and the memes that they could that were funny out of it, and time to move on to making DIY a more or a serious act and really kind of elevating the Raw side of the tag team championships and the tag team division.
Yeah, exactly. It's just they could use it because they've been a little idle for a very long time, so they
For
need to go
sure.
back to NXT DIY.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I wouldn't, me personally, because I know, this would definitely not go over well on Twitter. But like me personally, if they wanted to try to reignite the juice that is Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa
Yeah.
and funnel it in a way of, building up DIY into a formidable tag team, maybe giving them a substantial reign as champions. And then the situation happens. Maybe they flip the script instead of Tommaso turning on Johnny, Johnny turns on Tommaso,
Yeah.
you
Something
know,
new.
because, oh, and unfortunately, I can't remember. Is Candice and Indy on the other side? Are they on SmackDown? I can't
Um,
remember.
yeah.
Um,
While you look, I'll double check while you.
yeah, but like if there was a way that we can bring back the way as a heel stable minus Austin Theory, maybe we can substitute somebody else. I know we can't even use Dexter Loomis because
SmackDown. They're on SmackDown.
she's on SmackDown. See that
Yeah.
then it wouldn't work. But like either way, if we can flip the script and instead of having Tommaso turn on Johnny, flip the script, have Johnny turn on Tommaso. But again, it all means that they have to have a substantial reign as tag team champions, really build up their relationship as a tag team and what they've been through. So when that moment happens, it's an oh my God, why is this happening again? And then
Yeah.
people that remember the old NXT start having flashbacks of the crazy,
PTSD.
the crazy matches that Johnny and Tommaso had. So I think it'll be a great idea.
Yeah, I completely agree. Hopefully they do that at some point because we
Yeah,
have to just be patient sometimes. I know that's easier said than done, but
for sure.
we'll see. Um, what do we think of Solo's new look? Also, probably smart for Tamatonga not to speak to avoid any F bombs. Yeah, that's probably for the best because he's already meme fuel on Twitter as it is anyway.
Oh my God, it's fantastic.
Solo's new look. I mean, it's pretty cool. It definitely does kind of give you the head of the table boss kind of style vibe. So I
Yeah.
think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I would just more rather him if he's gonna wear that outfit, if he's going to, look at like, button the shirt up, button the jacket up, make sure the suit is custom fit.
Yeah.
I don't get the one leather glove. What is he like Michael Jackson? What is going on with the one glove?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. But again, I love because again, if you look, Tongaloa kind of looks like that henchman where he's wearing the all black suit. It's form fitting. He doesn't say anything, but he looks menacing.
Yeah.
Tamatonga, I don't know what that dude's on.
I
He's
don't
on
know.
he is on some stuff. You know,
Yeah, some
he
stuff and things.
yeah, he's on some stuff and things, but that's a fantastic point because Tamatonga is kind of like me. We say the F word so frequently that it
Yeah.
comes out before we can even stop ourselves from thinking that we should say that. So like
Yeah.
by basically giving him, the Wild Thornberries gimmick where he's just spazzing out backstage.
Yeah.
I think it's a I think it's a fantastic idea. And it's hilarious. It's just hilarious. Yeah, but like what I do like is like we're seeing that Solo can be sort of manipulative. He can play
Yes.
mind games because the whole idea is Paul Heyman asked him, have you talked to him? And he's referring to Roman Reigns and Solo's like, oh yeah, I talk to him all the time.
Mhm.
And we all know that's bull crap. He
Yeah.
probably hasn't talked to him since Mania. So I think it is got some juice to it. It's got some things that are intriguing.
Yeah. I'm gonna definitely be interested to see how this unfolds in the coming months because I have a feeling it's gonna get crazy.
Oh yeah.
What do we think happens with Becky and her expiring contract? She has the belt still, so does she drop it? Do they work out a deal, or does she explore free agency up her price? I could not imagine WWE letting her go.
Yeah,
There's no way.
yeah, and this is not a slight to AEW in any sense of the word or any other company, but I mean, I I just it just wouldn't it would be anywhere else the marketing, the machine that they've put behind Becky,
Yeah.
and her name being built that she can basically go and even it not going into free agency, but she does have leverage because
And
of the name that she's built. She's built up the Becky Lynch name to being a number one New York Times best-selling author. Like,
yeah.
that's crazy, you know? So it's just like she definitely has leverage regardless of the negotiation. And like you said, it doesn't make sense for WWE to let her go. she just wouldn't look right anywhere else.
It'd be so weird.
Yeah,
I don't know how I would feel.
it would just be awkward. There's no presentation
Mm-mm.
that would fit Becky Lynch outside of WWE. And again, it's no slight to AEW, TNA, New Japan, wherever. It's she's WWE. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
kind of like Sting in WCW and then TNA. Like, he was a ride or die. Becky's a ride or die. I mean, her husband's there. It obviously makes things easier for them to possibly travel together.
Yeah.
Now he's on the mend with his injuries, and stuff like that. I mean, but then again, going to AEW, the schedule wise is probably good because she is a mother.
Oh, don't speak that into the
I mean,
universe.
I'm just
It
saying
would it would make sense, yes, but just like you said, that AEW would not know how to book her at
right,
all.
yeah, yeah. It just, you know, the only thing in terms of what she would be used to and where she can excel would be like in another All in London show, but she would have to wait year by year to get that sort of
Yeah.
reaction, you know? So it's just like,
Yeah, it'd be silly.
yeah, it would just not work. I just think she's just WWE born and bred, and if she was to go somewhere else, there's nobody that would be on her level. She would just run circles around everybody to the point where she'd make people look bad.
Yeah, pretty much. So I say she'll still stay in WWE, whether she drops a title or not. I don't know. I don't think.
She's more willing to drop a title if need be than anybody else.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Is Saturday the right time to drop it
Oh,
though?
no,
'Cause
no, no, no.
I'm gonna say wait until well, what Rhea's for my sake, hopefully coming back by SummerSlam.
Mm.
So do you have Becky lose it to Liv possibly? Because I mean, that's where it's gonna probably go. Is that
Did
it's gonna be Liv and Rhea, even though the roles are gonna be a little reversed.
Right, but did they verify that Rhea doesn't need surgery?
Let me fact check that on live on the scene.
Well, because what I would do is I'm
Wait,
totally on board with the Rhea idea. Again, listening to
still
us,
looking.
you probably figure out that we're the most logical booking people. So obviously the most logical thing is
Doesn't
to
say, so I'm gonna assume that she doesn't need surgery.
yeah,
So
that would be good. Because if she did, she would obviously have gotten it by now.
yeah, so
That
she could be back by SummerSlam for all we know.
Yeah. What I would do if she's back by SummerSlam, then okay, you give Liv the belt Saturday. If it's gonna take a little bit longer, what I
I
would
hope
do
not.
is hold off and give Liv the belt, not necessarily at the last possible second, but just enough to where she's getting momentum as champion. Everybody's get into it, whether she's heel or face. And then right when she feels like she's got the world by the balls, Rhea's music hits and it's on. Let's go.
Yeah,
You
I
just
feel like they have to do something with Rhea at SummerSlam in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what it's gonna be,
Mhm.
and not even just for the fact that I'll have to witness it in person. It's just the fact that there has to be something because it's a big 5 pay-per-view. Triple H
Right.
isn't just gonna half-ass SummerSlam, so
Mhm.
something's gotta happen. So if there is a chance that she's gonna be there, you bet your ass she's gonna be there.
Right.
It's just a matter of if Liv's gonna be the champion by then, or she wins it at SummerSlam, and she's trying to kinda have a whole, like, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre thing where she's trying to have her moment and Rhea comes and ruins it,
Right.
except most people are gonna be happy about that.
Right.
So,
Though
who knows?
even let's say she's not let's say at the very last minute she's cleared, but she's not cleared in enough time to set up an angle for it to work for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I would do remember we talked about the moment she got injured, we said the silver lining is when she comes back, she's gonna have that Triple H 2001-esque
Yeah.
return where the roof is literally going to blow off the joint and
Yeah.
everybody's gonna be losing their freaking mind. What I would do is let's say she's not ready to go by SummerSlam, I'd have that moment at SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah, so have her, like, come out and, like,
Right. It-
stare Liv most likely down and
right.
be like, "I'm coming for your ass."
Right. What you would do is it's like it's the middle of the show. We just got done a match. we think we're going to go into maybe another preview for the next match, and then all of a sudden Samantha Irvin says, "Please welcome
Mm-hmm.
Rhea Ripley," and then
Yeah.
everybody just goes
Oh,
nuts,
I
nuts.
fucking hope something like that happens. Or
Right.
don't even announce it. Just have her music just randomly hit in the middle of the
Yeah.
pay-per-view.
And then she gets in the ring, she lets everybody know that she's back, she's medically cleared, everybody goes crazy, Liv Morgan's music hits, she comes out holding the championship like, "Ha ha ha, you would never get this," like,
Yeah.
and that sets off everything in motion.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. So
Yeah.
if Becky loses it on Saturday, who knows? I could see it going either way.
Yeah, definitely.
But speaking of Rhea and the Judgment Day, remember when everyone said that they were the House of Black from Wish? Looking back on that tweet is something. See, I don't want to say one way or another definitively we said that was the case. I don't think I remember saying
I
that they
I
were.
I know we were skeptical.
We're like, okay, we'll see how this goes. But
Yeah,
then
I know
I'm
we were
glad that I was
skeptical.
pleasantly surprised.
Because like I know that we were skeptical, and I think we were like, if my memory serves me correctly, we were like, yeah, we could kind of see where the joke makes sense, but it's like, yeah, like you said, we were more willing to wait and see what happens, and thankfully we did.
Look what happened.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things where the way it started, like, it's one you had us in the first half,
Yeah, not gonna lie.
yeah, it's you had us, but thankfully they righted the ship when it comes to Judgment Day. This little wrinkle with Liv and Rhea and Liv kind of being a snake is pretty cool. I'm
Yeah,
I'm interested a little bit in the Carlito situation. Is he just there as a placeholder to because Dom can't work
yeah.
because of the injury, but it's still interesting. They still figured out a way to make it interesting. And then why did Finn say, "I wish it was you out there teaming with me"? Like there's a whole lot of weird
Well, and
stuff
also,
going.
why was Finn getting out of the same car as Liv a few hours
Yeah,
apart? Like, come
like,
on.
am I watching all my children?
I think we
Like,
are. I think we kind of are.
yeah, because it's just like I feel like we're like two old ladies on the telephone gossiping about the soap opera.
Lit- Literally, though, it's just, and this is that thing with Triple H that we have always loved since his whole NXT days. He does those very subtle hints where it's like if you catch him, you feel like a genius, but then even if you don't catch him right away and someone else does, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, now I see it. Like
Yeah,
the purple handkerchief in Liv's
yeah,
pocket, like that was subtle. Like you weren't gonna notice it unless you were zooming in on it. So
yeah,
he's sneaky.
it's great. It's like like you said, you see it happening and you catch it, and when you catch it you feel like the smartest detective in the world,
Yeah.
but then when you realize what you saw you have more questions than answers.
Mhm.
It's literally like that part in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the Pepe Silva, where Charlie goes crazy and he's pointing at the bulletin board and there's
Yeah.
all types of
Literally.
shit everywhere not making sense, and that's literally how we try to explain what's going on in a wrestling sense to both wrestling fans and non-fans. We just sound like gibberish trying to
Yeah.
explain this Judgment Day situation, but it's
It's like just
crazy.
trust us.
Yeah,
Just trust us.
exactly. Just sit back and watch.
Exactly. So I'm excited to see where this goes because it's got to mean something. Like, what if she's been doing kind of all this stuff behind the scenes and then just brazenly and blatantly just tries to like hit on Damien live on TV? We'll be like, yeah, see, he was the last one because
And Damien won't fold.
oh
Everybody
no,
else in the group will fold.
of all people, Damien's gonna be the one that doesn't fold, which is like,
Damien doesn't fold because he looks at Rhea like a sister.
yes, he's like, I'm not gonna do that, and also I have more important things to worry about than you.
Exactly. And this will be the catalyst for Damian Priest figuring out if he wants to be a part of Judgment Day or not.
Yeah.
He kind of sees that, like, hey, I'm the champion, and the group behind me that's supposed to have my back, they're a bunch of they're
Idiots.
weak men. They're
Yeah.
weak,
And then imagine like when Rhea comes back too, add that whole other wrinkle onto it where it's like, okay, well, do I kind of at some point, hopefully, if they still do it, side with Damien, or do I side with like Dominic and the rest of Judgment
Yeah.
Day? Like, Oh, it's
Yeah,
gonna be exciting. These
yeah,
next few months are gonna be exciting for Judgment Day.
yeah. It's gonna be really good stuff.
I agree. So Jack is hyped for Darby because of the Sting connection protecting the promotion, but he's also incredibly worried because of what he's inevitably gonna do in Anarchy in the Arena. Yeah, that's what I don't want to see a man die on pay-per-view.
Like, we're like, I don't know. I don't know because you say I don't want to see a man die, and not to get off topic, but that gives me flashbacks. I don't know if you saw the clip of last night's stream during the Braun Breaker situation.
Oh God, yeah.
I was like,
Jesus.
hey, are we just gonna let this guy attempt homicide live on TV? And then you realize Darby Allin, not only a month ago, just got hit by a fucking bus.
Yeah, broke his nose.
He broke his nose, and it was because his friend is kind of sick and not able to walk under much power. He realizes the bus is coming, and it's not even like the bus just happened to hit him. Darby knew the bus was going to hit him, and
He's just like,
yeah, and he stepped in front, and he's like, well, if the bus hits my friend, he's dead. At
Yeah.
least I can like wrestling bump it and hopefully come out unscathed, and he comes out with a broken nose. He
yeah.
is not medically 100% because of his foot, his ankle, his broken foot, though. The thing that took him out of Mount Everest that was supposed to be like, almost like, okay, maybe God is real and he's intervening
Yeah.
to make this situation
Fate.
not happen. And then it's like, okay, he's got a broken foot. He can't do anything. He'll finally sit and rest and be normal. And then it's like, nope.
Yeah, no, we should know better at this point. Let's be real.
It's just insane. He's definitely going to be doing something stupid.
Yes.
That's going to literally be the Twitter conversation for the next 2 weeks about safety and everybody being a safety analyst for OSHA. All of a sudden,
literally though,
like, it's just like, at this point, the man, I don't want to say he has a death wish, but he
has 9 lives.
He can only function as a normal human being, and I say that very loosely.
Yeah.
He can only function as a normal human being if he's literally living on the edge of life and death.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's not even an exaggeration. It's just that some people are just like that.
Yeah, he literally lives life
dangerously,
like on the line, literally on the line of life and death.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't to have that mental makeup of that's your life and that's how you live and that's how you function. Insane.
And I don't know how he does it, but you know what? Good for him.
Good for him. Good for Darby.
Right. Alrighty, so sticking with AEW, Jack really enjoyed the contract signing between Willow and Mercedes. I like them tying the TBS belt into the history of wrestling on TBS. Yeah, I'm glad that they finally did that. But that line by Willow, oh my God, just
Willow.
Last time we went wrestled, I walked out as champion. You didn't even walk out at all. I'm like, oh shit.
That was a banger.
I love that. I'm like, oh, you go, Willow. It's a shame you're losing, but
it was perfect because if anything, you look at Willow and you're like, she doesn't seem like the type of person that would have the ability to roast someone. Like, she just doesn't have that in her. She's just really nice. And then she brings out that heater and it's just like,
it's like, all right.
Okay, it was like, okay. The thing is about it is we all knew that Mercedes on the mic side, on the talking side, is a little weak. For her to be, just KO'd, verbally by Willow there.
Oh yeah.
It makes things exponentially worse when you try to look at Mercedes talking.
And it's not going to help that she's inevitably going to win that title on Sunday.
I mean, you can pull off a swerve, and I think pulling off a swerve might get people talking, but how do you pull something off where Mercedes loses and it makes sense? Like
Yeah.
The talk shouldn't be, oh my God, she lost clean. Like, why would she lose? Why would she be the highest paid, whatever, and
Yeah.
lose clean? It has to be like in a way like, oh my God, she lost. That's crazy. Something happened. And now we have to wait and see how they're going to follow up with this.
Yeah.
That,
Exactly.
yeah, that has to be the scenario. It has to be an oh my God moment that leads you into what's going to happen next,
And then also on top of that, you also have to make sure it lives up to the hype because people are already skeptical enough as it is. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
and that's what happens when you bring Mercedes in as soon as they did and not wait
Hmm.
to bring her in closer to when she was available to wrestle in the ring.
Yeah.
Like I said before, the situation is we've seen her do the dance, we've seen her do the pose, we've seen the outfits, the hair, the makeup.
Yeah.
We've seen it all. So by the time she comes out for the match at Double or Nothing, you better have like a grand entrance.
Which she would. If it would be anybody, she would. But
Hopefully, I hope that they give her, let's give her a WrestleMania-esque entrance at
yeah.
our 5-year anniversary show, pay-per-view deal.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way. Because again, kids like to say that word aura. We've
Yeah.
already seen the aura. We've gotten months of the aura. So it's just like instead of being like, oh my God, she just debuted in the company 2 weeks ago, and this is her first pay-per-view match. You
Yeah.
know, it's a big deal. Like like there's a way you could have worked this. You could have used Stokely because then the talk is if she debuted just 2 weeks ago, why is she in a championship match? You use
Hmm.
Stokely and say Stokely went to wherever. You can say Stokely went to Japan or something like that.
Yeah.
Mercedes was doing an appearance in Japan. Stokely went there, presented her with a contract, and he signed it. Because again, Stokely is a funny guy, but he's not like haha babyface. Like Stokely
No.
would do something kind of snakish like that. So
Hmm.
again, he's looking for a big payday as Willow's manager, and he puts Willow in a championship match at Double or Nothing against Mercedes, who's going to make her in-ring debut. And if anybody has the question of why should Mercedes get this championship match, it's like, hey, talk to Stokely.
Yeah.
He's the one that set it up.
Yeah. He's got the answers.
Yeah, we don't got the answer. Sway Stokely does. So,
he always
you
has
know,
an answer.
yeah. So, like, that you could have done that, and that would have been a little bit creative, and that would have gotten the heat that you don't want on you. It would have gotten off of why is Mercedes in a championship match?
Exactly.
Hmm.
We'll just have to see how if it lives up to the hype on Sunday because
Yeah.
we'll see. All right, and Jack's last question is take our favorite movie each or each other's favorite movie and replace one character with a wrestler in full kayfabe.
Oh.
Is the movie better? Jack's example would be he would think Malachi would be a very good like a villain for Batman in the Dark Knight.
Yeah, to
Even
see that
don't
that
even.
that would have been probably your pick right there.
No, actually, believe it or not, no.
Really?
I mean, The Dark Knight's still my favorite movie, so you still got to use that as an example. However, I feel like he means like Malachi would be like a good Joker, and I
Mhm.
agree. He'd be a darker, more macabre-esque Joker, but I think if you could have put, obviously not the case anymore, but if you could have put Bray Wyatt as Two-Face, that would have been perfect.
Oh.
That movie would have been much more sadistic than it already was. It would have been just like, oh God, you don't know what's going to happen because, yeah, the Joker's there, but Harvey could have still been a very formidable kind of villain in that movie if Wyatt was playing him because, I mean, it's right there,
Yeah, definitely. That would have been pretty interesting. That would have
right?
that or Bray Wyatt for some reason. Now that you mentioned Batman, kind of reminds me of Scarecrow.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would have been a good one too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, Two-Face is because Two-Face was very underrated. You know,
Yeah, tell me about it. I know.
he was a good guy. He lost his family, and then he gets acid dumped on his face, and half of his face is just rotted
Yeah.
away.
And then in the Dark Knight's case, you get burned to a crisp halfway through
Yeah,
behind your body. So yeah, not a good
yeah.
track record for
It's
him.
just
But
that would have been crazy. That would have been really, really good. Bray
yeah,
Wyatt as Two-Face. Wow. Um,
man. See, I can come up with some surprises.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely surprised me because I was definitely when he said Malachi Black is like Joker or something like a villain for Batman. I was like, well, that
I was mad
probably
because I'm like, that would have been a good one, but I
yeah,
can't do that now. So
yeah, that probably would have been her answer. It's tough because I have like I have a tie when it comes to my favorite movies. I have one movie that's kind of like a cult classic that's not really well known. A lot of people haven't seen it. And then
okay,
I have my favorite movie that practically everybody's seen. So I'll probably go with that one.
okay,
It's super bad.
okay,
All right.
all right,
So
yeah. Oh
if I
boy,
were to replace characters on Superbad, I would take Jonah Hill's character and probably replace him with Otis.
oh my god, that works too well. Oh my god.
Replace him with no. I'll take Jonah Hill's character and replace him with Big E.
Oh god, that's even better. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Big E.
Oh
All right.
shit.
So who would be like a nerdy character on there that I could replace Michael Cera with?
Chad Gable.
Yeah, I like
Eh,
I need someone
back in
like
the day, Chad Gable,
yeah,
but
yeah, but maybe
um,
like a no, not Duke Andre Chase.
oh yeah, no,
So
that's the only answer for that one.
imagine Andre Chase and Big E as like the duo in Superbad.
Jesus, could you imagine? That would make that movie better.
That would be insane. I would love to watch anything with Big E. I don't understand. See, what the WWE films, they got rid of WWE films, never made a banger outside of See No Evil. And
Yeah,
you didn't utilize Big E in that sense. Big E should be in a movie, in a comedy, doing something because he'd be
yeah,
fantastic.
something, anything.
Yeah, but that's a great question.
I did. I was like, that was a really good one. So,
Yeah,
Jack, thank you for your questions. We appreciate it as always. Let us move on to Mike's questions.
awesome.
Oh boy. We can have one of these women return. And who are we choosing between Emma, the Iconics, Mandy Rose, Alicia Fox, Michelle McCool, Layla, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, Eva Marie? Funny. That's a funny joke. That's a funny joke. Summer Rae, Caitlyn, AJ Lee, or Eve Torres.
Oh wow, Mike, you jerk.
Jesus.
We can only pick one.
Can we pick? I mean, it's our show. We can do what we want, right? I think we can because the two that stick out to me are Alexa Bliss and AJ Lee. Like, come on.
Yeah, but those are too easy.
I
See,
mean,
I-
Caitlyn.
I love Caitlyn.
I would like to see how she would survive or like thrive in this era of like women's wrestling
Right,
because
man,
she would have fit in now.
She would have been such a money maker.
Yes,
She would have
yes,
been a money, like literally one of the top people. She just had that look,
yeah,
and she obviously was athletic. She wasn't like she was an actual powerhouse. She
yeah.
just
You almost want to say ahead of her time, really, because
yeah, honestly, I think so. And that's the thing, like you see nowadays, the way social media works and with stand culture in wrestling, there's a weird affinity for the divas era. Like I have a ton
yeah,
of respect for those ladies, but in a wrestling sense, they just never did anything for me. So
no,
like the almost obsessive infatuation with the divas era is kind of concerning me. But
yeah.
in that sense, like I think of women like Caitlyn and Ashley Massaro,
Oh
who's no
yeah,
longer with us.
she was my favorite back
Yeah,
in the day.
those two women in particular.
Would have loved this time in
Oh my
WWE.
god, if we could have got them now with their look and their whole aesthetic and the fact that they wanted to prove themselves as serious competitors in the ring,
Yeah,
they would have just thrived so much and made so much money for the
yeah.
WWE if they were around.
I'd bring the Iconics back too,
Yeah,
just for the humor.
no, Iconics would be my choice, bar none.
Yeah,
They were just their comedic timing.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I consume as much like stand-up comedy as I do wrestling almost.
Yeah,
Through like TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that. So I watch a lot of stand-up comedy and like having comedic timing and wit and just being able to think on the fly. Those are all the things that the Iconics are they possessed. I was actually thinking the other day, man, I missed the bit where like Billy Kay would yell, "Hey, Kayla."
You gotta be joking me.
Yeah, and you gotta be joking me. And like Peyton, she was like the perfect little extra sizzle to the steak, you know?
Yeah.
And, you would finish the meal and then there would be that little bit of extra Peyton there, and you get to eat that and you're like, oh, that was so good too. Like they were
Yeah.
the perfect duo. Their comedy was on point. Billy Kay is just fantastic. They're both fantastic, and they had that vibe. Like when they first linked up together, it was just like, oh, this is perfect. Like,
Yeah. It
this,
just clicked.
yeah, it just, I mean, why didn't we do they've been best friends since like kids. Why didn't we
Yeah.
do this? Like,
So
hello?
close.
And then for some reason they got rid of them. When they got rid of the iconic, I was just like, wait, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
what are we doing? It's the
It's just like, what the
iconics.
fuck? And like, how do you fucking get rid of them?
It was perfect. It was just
Yeah.
perfect.
It would have been great.
Loved it.
Maybe someday. You never
Yeah,
know.
there was little feelers because like Payne had said that she would love to be included in the 2025 Royal Rumble.
Yeah. See, there you go.
You
That was
know,
a chance.
I would love to see her. You need both. You need both.
Yeah. You gotta have one. You can't have one and not the other. It's not the
And we
same.
need both equally. Like it's not one or the other. We just need the iconics. I don't understand why
Yeah.
they're not there.
Your guess be as good as mine. I don't know. Very simple question. Where's Kota Ibushi? I think he's hurt, isn't he?
He was never 100.
Everything was wrong.
Yeah. Even when he was working AEW, he was never 100%. You could tell. I didn't
Yeah,
want
it showed.
I didn't want to say anything because I had such a affinity for Kota Ibushi. But
However,
he looked out of shape. He
Yeah.
looked a little slow. And I mean, who am I to talk? I'm just like I'm a fat slob. But I'm saying for what you expect from Kota Ibushi,
Yeah.
he just he looked like a step off. Like something wasn't right. His
Yeah.
body wasn't right because that's the thing about Kota Ibushi. Like this man was literally like chiseled out of stone. You know?
It just because I remember because I mean back in the day when you would see him in the in WWE and you're kind of just like, yeah, this would be fucking perfect. And then when he came into AEW, I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
are we looking at the same one? Like the same cruiserweight classic guy? Like,
Yeah. And even
what's
like
going on?
his work in New Japan, like it was funny. Like I'm maybe this was around the time that I got kind of turned away from New Japan, but it was like, why isn't this guy your world champion yet? Like he checked all the boxes for me as a wrestler. So I'm hoping if he's gonna make another run after he gets 100% cleared, it's a legendary run. Like this guy, he could have been a big deal in AEW.
Yeah.
Deal and
Him and Kenny are just cursed, I guess.
yeah, like they could have done something with the Golden Lovers, something more extensive than what they've done. They could have gave him a singles run because I think that was the one thing that kind of hurt him is that his debut for AEW was like in a 10-man blood and guts deal or whatever. So he didn't really get time to shine. He didn't really get to show the Kota Ibushi that the wrestling fans knew. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he wasn't 100% coming into AEW and he rushed it anyway.
Yeah.
I think he re-aggravated the injury that he had, which set him back a while. So yeah, he's just waiting to get medically clear.
One someday, maybe not anytime soon, but eventually.
Yeah.
The Bloodline Nikes or Young Bucks Reeboks? Oh, Bloodline Nikes.
Oh,
come
yeah.
on.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not even close. The Young
Yeah.
Bucks ones are ugly. I hate them, but Bloodline's more like my style anyway. Black, red, those kind of like sleek kind of style. And Nikes are better than Reeboks anyway. So
I'm not a sneakerhead guy, but the Bloodline 12s look clean. They look
come
clean.
on.
I mean,
like
I get the
I wouldn't want to spend that kind of money, but
no, I'm not gonna buy them because I can't afford them. But if I could, I'd take them. I like that the Young Bucks one is a nostalgia sort of play. With the pump ups and everything and the high dunks. But again, I like when it comes to sneakers, I'm very minimalistic. Color combos is very important, but I don't like anything too bright. I don't like a bunch of different patterns. I don't like foam posits or anything like that. The Bloodline 12s are very clean sneaker for me. It's
Yeah.
a very clean, aesthetically pleasing sneaker. It's a fantastic collaboration. It's crazy. We got Roman Reigns has his own shoe, Jordan brand shoe. Cody Rhodes is the first wrestler to ever be #1 merchandise seller on Fanatics. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? You know,
It is wild.
it is a
Like,
wild time, especially to do branding. I mean, they brought in Logan Paul, and they're utilizing Logan Paul pool with Prime.
yeah.
And everybody was pitching a fit over how they're going to use Prime and advertising and what it's going to look like. And like I said, it was literally just a graphic on the mat. It's not
Yeah.
going to do anything to take away from the wrestling, and boom.
Yeah.
You know?
It was as good as it could have gotten, I
Yeah.
guess, really. But yeah, the Bloodline Nikes got the ringside rundown stamp of approval on that
Sure.
one. I would get those in a heartbeat, but
For sure. If you guys want to buy,
$200.
yeah, if you want to buy us a pair, I'll take the left one. You take the right one.
Yeah, literally. Actually, no,
Yeah.
I'm left-handed, so I'll take the left
Okay,
one. But
sweet.
easy enough. Thoughts on Dax telling the crowd to celebrate Cash's trial being tossed out? That was weird. It's just so weird. Like that is such a weird chant too for that crowd. Like he's not guilty. Like guys, I get that you want to be like unique and whatever, but really, that's the one you came up with. Like,
Congratulations for not going to jail for pulling a gun on someone on the road.
yeah, like, and the thing is that kind of turned a lot of people off from them, at least from what I mean, Mom for sure, because we like them. I still kind of do, but Mom, every time they're on now, she's just like, it's just weird now, I guess,
Yeah.
at least for her. But yeah, that crowd was weird. Just
Yeah.
why would you chant he's not guilty? Like that's just, I don't know.
I mean, he did that shit. Like, you know, like
Yeah,
he did
yeah,
it. It's just like, yeah, it's that
weird.
botchamania bit. You talk too much. Like, you know.
Yes, please stop talking.
Yeah, the Dax is a yapper, you know.
Yes,
And,
he does love to go on.
yeah, he's a yapper, and thing is, when you got a guy who yaps too much, they have a tendency of saying things that they shouldn't say. They give away
Yeah.
too much information, you know.
Yeah, and he sure did that.
Yeah, Dax is not a guy you want to tell your secrets to, because he'll
No.
turn it into a wrestling chant.
And also don't make him have a speech at a wedding because
Right.
it'll take a while.
And we all know he loves his family, he loves his daughter, and he
Mhm.
loves professional wrestling.
Yes.
God damn it.
In case you forgot.
In case you forgot. So yeah, Dax is a yapper, and it was a pretty stupid thing to do. Because
Yeah.
Cash literally did pull out a gun and
He did.
flash a gun at another motorist on the road while
Yeah.
driving. So he is technically guilty, just not guilty enough for them to send him to prison.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
It's
so
just
yeah,
so weird.
Yeah, it's just.
It's weird.
I mean,
it's just
this
wrestling fans are weird
yeah,
sometimes.
this is what happens when you try to be edgy before you think. You know?
Yeah, it just makes you look dumb.
Yeah, you come out, end up looking dumb, kind of corny, kind of cringe. You know, and I love
Yeah.
FTR. You know, I like them as a tag team. I think they're great.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather them just stick to. I hate to use that stick to wrestling.
Stick to wrestling.
It sounds like stick
It
to
sounds
dribble.
terrible.
Like, you know, the whole thing where they were telling athletes, no, you can't be, you know, socially active and use your
Yeah.
platform for good. They were like, stick to just playing your sport. You know?
Yeah, which I hate that excuse.
Yeah,
Like,
I
I
hate
forgot the
that.
robots.
But in this case,
You kind of have to.
I think it's best
It's
if,
warranted.
if Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler just maybe stick to wrestling, the thing that they
Yeah.
apparently love so much.
Yeah, probably a good idea for
Yeah.
everybody involved. Speaking of wrestling fans,
Oh,
do
no.
we think, as some of the IWC thinks, Tiffany Stratton losing to Bianca Belair
Oh,
in the
no.
tournament was punishment for that clip she ran on her Instagram stories? At first, I had no idea
Oh no.
what anybody was talking about.
Oh,
But then it's like I saw kind of like the clip, I didn't hear the audio, and I'm like, oh, I really hope she didn't say what I thought she said. And thankfully she didn't.
Yeah.
But not much better. Yeah, that was just talk about a strange thing to say. Just
yeah, it's
I don't know what possessed Tiffany. See, I thought from the way some people were talking was that wasn't the actual audio, but apparently it is the actual audio. So
Right.
I'm like, yikes! You know where the mics are in the ring. You should know where the mics are in the ring.
No,
And
but that clip, I thought it was an overdubbed clip.
see, that's what I thought it was too. But some people think it was real, and I
No.
don't
There's
know.
no way. There's no way a ring mic would catch that clearly.
You
There-
would think
there-
so.
There is no.
No.
I mean, all right. I can't say there's no way, but I'm
It's a good chance.
98% sure there's no way that happened. Why would she?
Yeah.
Why would she say that? Where she knows microphones are and cameras are.
Exactly.
That's stupid.
But then it also goes back to the other part of the question, was not even just the clip or the punishment was Tiffany losing. The fact that Tiffany lost shocked me, like completely shocked me. I'm just like, wait a minute. I thought she was easy. I thought it was going to be Lyra and Tiffany in the finals for sure. But
Right, but like the only thing is like people's assumption of that, like from the internet, like it does make sense to have Tiffany in that spot, but like people were running with, oh, look at the render of the graphic, like that is a
yeah, they kind of like that spoiled the fact that it was Tiffany and Lyra,
I
and
don't
like
really
that's
find
dumb.
that being a smoking gun as to it being a spoiler
No.
and things changing because of the situation. You know, and if we think about it, is it really that bad that Bianca went over on Tiffany? I mean,
No.
my whole thing is like the it's a thing of seniority almost, you know, where
Yeah.
Bianca has been pulling her weight in the positions that she's been given on TV and on the pay-per-view. You don't hear her about complaining that she's not champion, that she's not in the women's main event or anything like that. She just goes out, does her business. She's actually, you know, a sort of ambassador for WWE doing public relations work, things like
Yeah.
that. I mean, her and her husband just had a freaking Hulu show, you know,
Yeah,
like
literally.
no, so I don't see her as a person that's like, well, I have to go over. If not, I'm gonna cause a big stink.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, you look at it and it's like, okay, you want to have the new up and comer like Lyra Valkyria. If she goes up against Bianca Belair, you're telling me you don't want to see that match?
Yeah, literally. Come on.
You know, you don't want to see that match. And then on the flip side, you have Nia Jax, who has had a career resurgence. She has done a complete 180 in terms of her work, and she continuously gets better. So Lyra, the new up and comer against the unstoppable Nia Jax, I would I would much rather go with Bianca and Lyra. Tiffany and Lyra, yeah, that would have been cool, but Tiffany's name, as popular as she's become, it doesn't hold the weight that the name Bianca Belair does.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm thinking that's kind of why the logic that she won is just her name holds weight. She has seniority. You want to give her the spot, and you know Lyra's solid in the ring. Lyra proved that she can go. She went toe to toe with Io Sky last night. She proved that she can go. She had a banger match against Becky Lynch. You know, this girl is the real deal. So there's a perfectly good reason for her to be in that position. So, like, you know, you could have the match with Tiffany and it'd be great. Two young up-and-comers duking it out, but you have a young up-and-comer against the established superstar, you know, that's turning into a locker room veteran, a locker room leader.
Yeah.
That, to me, holds better in terms of storytelling.
Honestly, I agree. I was very nervous though that I'm like, are they going to actually do Jade versus Bianca?
Yeah, that was
in this
my
tournament.
nerve.
I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't do this already. This is like a SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, like WrestleMania match.
Right.
So thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, but my thing was too, you had her first loss be a DQ, like I don't know, it just seemed a little like throwaway-ish.
Yeah, I mean, there was no really way to save it, you know.
No.
How else could you make that situation happen? I think.
But don't put her in a tournament then if you know that inevitably she's not going to win it.
Yeah, but then people would be questioning why she wasn't in the tournament.
Yeah,
The
see,
same
they
way
can't
they
win.
question why Braun Breaker wasn't in the tournament.
Yeah,
You know,
really.
it's like you'll never get a consensus of everybody agreeing on one thing. You
Yeah.
know, that's just non-existent. It's never going to happen in this fan base. However, it was good that the the reaction to the DQ wasn't, "Oh my god, why was it a DQ?" It was like
Yeah.
an exhale, like, "Oh my god, they're not doing this match on King and Queen of the Ring. They're saving it for a big show." You
Yeah,
know,
thank
it was
God.
yeah, it was more like a relief. So it's good
Yeah,
that their attention is, we want to see this match just on a big stage. You know, it's
exactly.
yeah, the tournament, we have to look at it in a positive spin, is this is a tournament clearly about competition.
Yeah.
This is a tournament about your performance. This
Mhm.
is not who we want to gimmick as king and queen of the ring. Who do we want to change the character? No, this is to have the honor of being called king and queen of the ring. So
Yeah.
it's a serious competition. But
Mhm.
just one thing about the Tiffany Stratton situation, I seriously think it was an overdubbed audio.
Yeah, I think so.
Being that I kind of am attached to technology.
But she still shared it on her Instagram story though, I
Right.
think.
My
So,
thing is,
stupid.
yeah, it's definitely stupid, but I can see where she makes a mistake. And here's the mistake. I personally, my volume on my phone is always turned down, and my
Yeah.
phone's on vibrate. Why? Because when you're sitting laying in bed at 1 a.m. and you're scrolling through social media and a video just pops up and it's blaring the sound of God,
Mhm.
you know, like
Yeah.
it's like, it's I don't like that. So my volume more than likely is always turned down. So she could have just thought it was a GIF, a still picture, thought, "Hey, I'll post it, no big deal," not hearing that there's an audio attached to it. You know,
Yeah.
because I'm telling
Yeah.
you, like, it seemed like it was like a freak delete, like, you know, "Oh my god, I messed up, delete." You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like a sustained, like, it was there for, like, 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that. It's just a weird situation, but it just, like I said on Twitter, it kinda shows you how weird this fan base is, that they're just like,
Yeah.
for their own amusement, sitting at home, they're trying to tear somebody down. Like, so what, her political beliefs are different. There's a million other people that have different political beliefs. Yeah, it sucks, but you know what? She's not out here using her platform to spout those things. She just goes about her business. She does her job. She does what she's paid to do. And her job is to entertain us as fans. And up until this point, she's far exceeded what her job is to do. You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
she's just been great in the ring. Her character is great. It's believable. She still gets over with the fans. She does this thing where, like, she kind of has a tiny little soft spot for her supporters, but she's
Yeah.
still, you know, Tiffany Stratton. It's just weird to me that we live in a time where everybody just trying to ruin everybody else's life, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Be a menace to society.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just very
Mm.
just weird. Just so weird. Um, in hindsight, do we think LA Knight should have been drafted to Raw instead of SmackDown? It's highly unlikely he would dethrone Cody, so he's got a bit of a ceiling on SmackDown. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that is yeah. When I saw he got drafted to SmackDown, I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense.
Mike did bring up a good point. I mean, you know, he can go up against Cody and he'll have a great match, no doubt, but there's no logical reason that he should beat Cody Rhodes for the world
No.
championship. On the flip side, if he was on Raw going up against Damian Priest and having to deal with the Judgment Day, that probably would have been a more interesting, intriguing story.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah. That was one of those missteps of the draft where it's like,
Yeah, the
Triple
draft.
H, I don't know what are you doing here?
Yeah,
Like,
the draft. And if, like they said before, if they would have set up a trade deadline for the
yeah, something.
main roster stars, you do a draft for the NXT stars going up to the main roster, because
Yeah.
that's the whole point of a draft in sports anyway, is
Yeah.
going up to the major leagues.
And you would have and you could have built that into storylines too, or it's like the only reason I can't get my hands on you is because they traded me to the other brand or whatever after the other. It's like
exactly.
you had possibilities there, but
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought there was going to at least be some trades, but I guess not.
I guess not.
So you, this is a very interesting question for Mike's last question. So somehow, some way, we have managed to get on the Jericho cruise. I don't know why. It hits an iceberg, and we have to evacuate the ship on a dinghy. Okay, so we wind up on the same dinghy as JBL and Dan Lambert.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. So the dinghy has a small leak. You can see the shoreline, but it won't make it there with all three of us on the same boat. You have a chance to jump or dump one of them overboard. Which one are we sending into the water?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure we can't say both because it's easy. Easy answer. Dan Lambert.
Yeah.
I would throw his ass over in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Like
just insufferable.
I don't know Dan Lambert like that. Like, but I just feel like he wouldn't be someone I would like sit down and hang out with. Dan Lambert kind of reminds me of the character in the Titanic that was like, he was the dude at the very end just trying to get on the boat. So he took the kid and said, hey, this is my kid, when it's not really his kid.
Yeah, literally. He would probably be trying to throw me or JBL over before we would try to throw him. So it's like, you might as well just get him out of the way now.
And at least like JBL would probably have some cool stories to tell. So I would just be, as we're trying to make it to shore, like, hey, can you tell me more Eddie Guerrero stories? Like, you know,
please.
And then when we get there, I can finally be like, hey, you blocked me on Twitter.
Asshole.
And I didn't throw you over. I threw the other guy over. So
you better unblock me right now.
Unblock me right now and say something nice about the podcast.
Literally, that's the one stipulation we have.
Yeah, because who would be the guy that's like, they're saying women and children only, and they're the wrestler that's like, I don't give a shit, I'm getting on this boat. Who would be that guy?
Dan Lambert.
Dan Lambert, probably. I'm just thinking of wrestling as a whole, like Stokely.
Yeah.
Stokely.
Yeah. Stokely one.
Stokely wouldn't give a shit. MJF would be that guy that I was talking about from the Titanic movie.
Yeah.
That would be MJF. Who else?
Dominic.
Dominic, that little shit, would literally kick a kid off the dinghy. Yeah. It's they, you know how they do those Hollywood remakes when they're promoting WrestleMania for Hollywood? They need to do a Titanic one, but do that. That scene,
kick the kid off.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get onto the rescue boats, and it's just wrestlers throwing each other off the boat.
Literally, that would. Oh my God, we need to see that happen. All right, WrestleMania 41 for Vegas.
Oh my God, that would
make it happen.
That would be fantastic.
That would be fucking hilarious. That was a good question. I like that one.
I love that question. That was great.
That was all of Mike's. So thank you, Mike. Make some good time here today. This was surprising. All right, so we come down to Mom's final question. So again, happy birthday. I know it's gonna be a day late by the time we post this, but as of this recording, it is still your birthday. So
sorry I couldn't get Drew McIntyre to pop out of a cake.
I think honestly, I think at this point she'd prefer Damien.
Yeah. She let me in on a little secret of hers, so we probably should have gone with Damien.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to hear that. So yeah, I was sitting right there when she said it too.
Oh
I'm like,
God, that was the funniest thing ever.
I wish I could leave this room right now, but there's no space here. So anyway, so her first comment is she loved the interaction between Copeland and the House of Black, taking his wedding ring as diabolical. Oh, it is.
Oh yeah.
And that's something the House of Black's just used to doing, is just being menaces to these people and their families. So am I surprised? No, but I'm excited to see how far this pushes Copeland over the edge, because he's going to snap and it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I'm just bummed out that this happened. These are the things we should be seeing from House of Black on a regular basis.
Yeah, I don't know why it took him so fucking long, but hopefully this is why I'm saying if Malachi wins a Double or Nothing, maybe this finally jumpstarts the fact that we've been screaming at Tony Khan to do something with House of Black.
Right.
Like, something.
Yeah, because like House of Black could have been doing shit like the Ministry of Darkness used to do back in the day.
Yeah,
they kidnapped Stephanie McMahon and tried to sacrifice her on a
Yeah.
makeshift crucifix, and then they couldn't sacrifice her, so they tried to marry her. There was a time where
Yeah.
he tried to kill Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, these are things like House of Black could have reinvented and
Yeah. Mind
modernized.
games.
Yeah, and modernized it. And to an extent, they did they did the angle, but they stole the wedding ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
They stole a symbol of his devotion to his wife, basically.
It's a good side of him.
Yeah, yeah, hey, yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. He wants to bring out the evil side of Adam Copeland, so
Yeah.
you attack the one thing that makes him happy.
Exactly.
It's brilliant, and these are things. This is why I'm glad AEW exists and has existed in the time frame that they have, because
hmm
how wrestlers to express their creative side when coming up with these things. It's not ideas and storylines and things that are dictated to them. I say that in a way because there was, we've only been accustomed to the Triple H way of doing things, which is
Yeah.
very similar at this point. We're not used to it yet, but AEW's been doing that since day one, which is allowing their performers to have the freedom to express themselves the creative way they want to. Malachi Black is a super, super, super creative guy.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
understands his character. He understands the way he needs to carry himself as his character, and it's just brilliant. And it's funny because I'm looking back and I'm like, you know what? I kind of this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm kind of enjoying Adam Copeland more than I enjoy Edge. Like, Edge was,
Oh.
yeah, Edge was always solid. I loved the Ultimate Opportunist character. I loved when he
Yeah.
would just lose his freaking mind about something and he would bug eye out. The one thing that got Ricky
Yeah.
Starks in trouble. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, the stuff he's doing in AEW is some really, really good stuff. I mean, you look at the Cope Open, you look at his thing with Christian that they did, that he kind of got that out of the way. The match against Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
He's just doing some really, really good work in AEW. He's doing what Chris Jericho thinks he's doing.
Yeah. Oh.
That's and
Fire.
yeah,
Shots fired.
I mean, it's the God's
True.
honest truth. It's the
Mhm.
God's honest truth. He's not sucking these guys dry for their creativity and charisma. He's saying, "Hey, I want to elevate you guys by showing what you can do in the ring against a Hall of Famer." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is a Hall of Famer wrestling out with a bunch of young guns,
Yeah.
and elevating them at 50 something years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. I'm kind of hoping. Okay, so this is my whole not like full on fantasy booking of that cage match, but just my ideal scenario is that Malachi finally brings out the dark side of Copeland. And here's my thing: the problem is that we're starting to see a pattern with these where it's like House of Black brings out the dark side of the other person, but then they lose because of that. What happens if Malachi brings out so much darkness in Copeland that he is so blinded by it that that's how Malachi wins? Like, maybe actually change it up a little bit as opposed to just, oh, you finally got what you deserved, because it's like they've been getting what they've deserved for the last like 4 feuds now. So
Yeah.
give us something new.
How about Malachi wins and him and the rest of House of Black just take Copeland's body?
Yeah.
After the win, you take
Yeah.
Copeland's body, Copeland comes back, and he's almost like he's aligned with the House of Black. Like, he
Yeah.
comes out different attire, different kind of look. He has the Malachi poisoned eye.
Yeah.
He's full-fledged House of Black, but there's just there's an instance somewhere down the line where there's that little glimmer of the rated R superstar. It kind of reminds me of when Daniel Bryan was in the Wyatt family. He wasn't in the Wyatt family very long, but it was so impactful from the time he was there to that moment where he betrayed Bray Wyatt and that place was going insane. So
Yeah.
you can do a short stint sort of situation like that where, Malachi already got the W against Copeland in the barbed wire cage match. So if he takes the L the next pay-per-view to Copeland, it's not going to hurt him because he already
Yeah.
beat him. He already beat him, and he beat him in a match we don't usually see that very often,
Exactly.
So
Just give him something.
yeah, so I would give Malachi the W at Double or Nothing. Him and House of Black sort of take Copeland captive and make him a member. And for a couple weeks, it looks like he's really into this House of Black thing. But then the little glimmers start to, show up. And then,
Yeah.
the only downside is a barbed wire cage match should probably be a blow-off deal. And it's not.
Yeah.
But again, who gives a fuck?
At this rate, AEW's not going to listen to that anyway, so
it's
who cares?
AEW. They can basically do whatever they want. So, like, who cares?
At this rate,
Yeah.
who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Poor Eddie. I swear he can't catch a freaking break. Isn't that the truth? Like, god damn it. Like,
I read the news yesterday, the extensive injury. I mean, he's got a broken tibular, torn meniscus, and a non-existent ACL. So
yeah, so he's not coming back till next year.
Yeah, he's not going to be back till 2025. He basically doesn't have a leg at this moment. But I mean, it's good to, hopefully he's in good spirits. His main thing was, he made it a point to say that he'll be back, so that's good. And
still,
I hope he comes back and it's just like, holy shit, that's Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Because he's been getting himself right with Cesar Bononi. We talked about that last week, and then this is just an unfortunate situation that happened. But if you think about it, he has such an infatuation with the four pillars, and the strong style, that sort of King's Road style of Japanese wrestling. It's so on brand for Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah,
it's so on brand. As soon as I saw the clip, I was like, yeah, there's no way he's good from that.
No.
No. Before they even announced that it was an injury, I'm like, yeah, he's not good. He's not making it to Anarchy in the Arena. He is in a worse state than Darby Allin is, who got hit by a bus.
And literally though, like, it's shit. Poor Eddie. Just, like you said, it's just very.
Man, if they
all of it's just on brand for him. But
if they could have replaced Bryan Danielson with Darby Allin, and we could have had Darby Allin and Eddie Kingston in an Anarchy in the Arena match as a
someone
team,
for sure actually would have died.
Oh my god, I would have much rather. Yeah, because if you think about it, like, what's the correlation to Bryan Danielson and the Elite Takeover? Maybe Kazuchika Okada, but that's about it.
I guess it's just more for the honor of AEW, and he's one of those kind of guys, I guess. I don't know. That's all I got.
Imagine if you could have swapped out Danielson for Darby, had Darby, Kingston, FTR.
God,
on a team. Imagine. On a team in Anarchy in the that would have been something. I want to see House of Black in an Anarchy in the Arena match. Imagine they do some spooky shit.
I want to see blood and guts too.
Oh yeah.
How about just House of Black and anything important?
Yeah, we're just violent.
We're also biased, but hey, it is what it is. All right. So our last question is: if we were stuck in a 10-hour car ride with a wrestler, who would we want it to be with? We cannot say the obvious choices. All right, so we got to get Shayna, Dakota, Rhea, Malachi, all out the window.
Probably Eddie, Brody.
God damn
Those are my people. Punk,
Becky.
Punk, you'd probably have to kick out.
Becky, probably.
Seth, you'd probably have to kick. Well, no, I'd ride with Seth, and that's kind of not an obvious answer.
No, I gotta see, and it's funny because to anybody else, this should be a not obvious answer, but a mom, it should be an obvious answer. She just knows I'm not gonna pick. I wouldn't have picked him, Adam Cole.
Oh, that's it. That's a great answer because you guys would have a lot to talk about.
We would literally spend the entire 10-hour car ride talking about video games. That is literally it. Nothing else, just video games.
Yeah.
So yeah, she probably didn't expect me to say that one, so whatever.
Adam Cole's a good pick. That's a good solid pick for you. Yeah. I'm gonna cheat because like you said earlier, this is our show. We can do whatever we want.
Hey, you can deal with mom, man, not me.
I'm gonna cheat double time. Actually, I'm gonna take the entirety of the New Day.
Oh God, that would be hilarious from start to finish.
I would probably piss myself.
Literally.
Because like if it's anything like the New Day podcast,
oh God, he's over.
I'm in there like swimwear, like like I don't even have to say anything. Just let them talk and let them riff and kill. But then on the flip side, picking someone from AEW, got to go with my girl Harley Cameron.
Oh God,
she would probably. And if she's probably driving, she probably seems like the driver that would have me scared for my life. So that'd be kind of interesting.
That promo that she cut, though,
I don't know why she said that. I don't know why.
I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Like,
I don't know why she said that.
I don't.
And if you're asking, what did she say? You go look it up. I'm not saying what she said.
We are not putting that on the air. That is not happening.
I'm not saying what she said, but she said it.
I think I was at work when I think I was had a little bit of a break, so I was watching. I was fulipping through and I saw it and I heard that and my eyes probably got so wide. Thank God no one saw me because I'm just like, she really just said that. She really just said that.
And they posted it.
But you have to have a little disclaimer. If anyone wants to know what we're talking about, pay close attention because you might miss it if you're not paying full attention.
Slipped it
She's
in
sneaky.
there.
That was sneaky.
Yeah, she really, because I just look, I'm like, remember like when we first started the podcast, we had that whole deal, that whole bit with Hook,
Yeah.
Hook wasn't an absolute fucking thing. And we're like, Hook, like, you just wait for little old Hook. He's going to do something. I feel like that's my transition now, 2024, 3 years later. It's turned from Hook to Harley Cameron. It's just
God.
I'm riding with Harley Cameron. I'm a ride or die Harley Cameron fan. That girl is unhinged. She's crazy. I'd probably not be safe around her, but she says the craziest things. And it's like, why did you say that?
Why did you say those things? Like, stop. Stop.
And like you said, she says it so nonchalant. Like, you're listening, and then you're like, wait a minute, what'd you just say? Like, hold up.
Like, huh?
It's just,
oh God.
Oh my God, that girl. I wish I had that confidence to say some unhinged stuff like that.
Literally though, like it's just so shocking. Like you just, yeah.
Harley Cameron.
Just Harley Cameron. That's all you got to say.
We're Cameronites.
Is that what we are?
I am. I'm a full-on Cameronite.
All right, you know what? We'll let it happen. All right, I believe that is all the questions we have.
Wow, you were right. We were kind of speed running through this, but this was a fun show because we got a abundance of those. What would you do? Sort of questions about wrestling, and those are fun.
Yeah,
those are.
Yeah, they really are. I love those ones where it's just like it's kind of wrestling, but not really.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. And it's not the whole, let's analyze this, let's recap that, it's just, it's fun. But yeah, if you like the podcast, if you've made it this far into the podcast, first of all, thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. And hopefully you come back for more. And to do so, you can find the podcast on any platform that you use to listen to podcasts. It's available on all the big ones, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon. And it's even available on YouTube. So you can check it out there on YouTube as well. If for some reason you use a certain platform, you can't find it, just let us know on social media. I will send you back a link on that platform on a silver platter. But the caveat is
silver platter.
The silver platter. But the caveat is you have to give it to us back. They're very expensive.
Yeah, we only have one on one.
Yeah, we only got one, so we need it back.
Yes.
And the best way to stay up to date on the podcast and all of the content that comes out of the Ringside Rundown podcast is to find us on social media. We're available on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, like I said, YouTube, basically anywhere you consume some sort of online wrestling content, we are there. So find us on there. Twitter and Instagram is @Ringside Rundown. So it's very easy to find us there. TikTok is ringside_rundown. So yeah, you can find us there. I do Twitch streams for every WWE and AEW show on Twitch and YouTube. I figured out a way to multi-stream.
Nice.
So we're doing
nice.
both now. The
Look at that.
YouTube numbers are going crazy as usual. So super appreciative of that. Again, if you want to stay up to date with the show, just go to @Ringside Rundown on Twitter or Instagram. If you want to check out my uncensored thoughts on wrestling, just follow me on Twitter @WrestlingCron. That's wrestling CHRON. Shay, where can I get in touch with you?
You can find me on Twitter @Shailene-Hickson21, talking a whole bunch of nonsense about a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, you're multifaceted.
Yeah, that's what we want to call it.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
You're functioning multifaceted.
Multi-fandom
Yeah.
stuff.
She's into a lot of things. It's pretty cool. So give her a follow. Again, it's a big weekend for wrestling with King and Queen of the Ring and Double or Nothing. So our next show is going to be big, talking about those events, talking about those matches. So make sure, again, you hit that follow button, you hit that subscribe button, you tell your friends, you tell your neighbors, you tell your principals, you tell everyone who likes wrestling to check out the Ringside Rundown podcast. We definitely appreciate it. For Shay Hickson, my name is Eric Vasquez, and we'll see you next time.
See you later, guys.